Josh, in his arrogance, yeah, he goes and says, fuck you to me. Okay, fine. He's got these principles of his, fine. He won't take my name off the URL of the Kiwi Farms thread, no problem. But then later, he offers to do it because it's his advantage, yeah? Because he's making this offer so that I'll do something for him, right? So what does that tell you? That his principles mean shit, okay? It's just bullshit. It's just, a facade. He doesn't have any fucking principles. And in point of fact, it proves that he'll pretty much do anything to save his own skin, like a fucking rat. We all kind of despise social climbers. In literature, it's a trope. Yeah, the whole notion of a social climber being a fucking asshole, whatever. I mean, we always look at them askance because we look at social climbers and we think that they are getting an advantage by the fact that they're charming. And we don't like the fact that social climbers are actually using people in order to get ahead. It just hits us on a visceral level and we're like, get away. But the fact of the matter is that in order to succeed at business, in order to succeed at your career, you have to social climb. And it would be wonderful if this were not the case. It would be wonderful if all that was needed for true success is to be good at your job. It would be wonderful. But the problem is that that's not reality. That's not the world we live in. It's not a perfect world. On the contrary, it's exceedingly imperfect. And it's so imperfect, in fact, that in order to succeed, you have to be moving in the right circles. You have to be moving with the right people. The right people meaning the elite of your society or milieu or industry or what have you. Because that's where the best deals are to be found. Be it business, be it in a corporate career, anywhere, okay? You have to climb, socially climb, and get to the top. And if you don't get to the top, you will not have access to the best deals, the best opportunities, the opportunities that can make your fortune. You will simply not have access to it. You won't even know that they exist. The only way you will know that they exist is if you climb up to that level. I did a video a couple of years ago called How to Work a Room. You can find it right here. It's a video I like very much because it's so fucking true. It's kind of long, it's 45 minutes, but I talk about the fact of how you have to work a room, how you have to schmooze people, the specifics of how you do it. What do you drink? What do you do? What do you say? I spent, like I said, 45 minutes on the video, but I didn't talk about the reasons to be working a room. The reasons that you work a room is to social climb, yeah. You want to impress people. You want to work a room and get people to like you so that they will call you up and they will tell you, hey, I heard about something, some possibility, and maybe you're interested in it. Maybe this opportunity that I'm about to tell you will make your fucking fortune. Yeah, that's why you do it. Yeah, because that's how it happens, by the way. The great opportunities that will make your life, that will make your fortune, that will allow you to have money that will last you the rest of your life, it happens because of the people you know. Because ultimately, remember, money and making money and the whole economic activity, it is a social activity. It's between people. And people who know one thing and they communicate that information to another person and that person uses it to their advantage. That's how the world works. And therefore, you have to know people. You have to know people and interact with people. And whether you're an introvert or not, whether you're super shy or not, you got to go out there and talk to them. And if you're shy, well, that's a limitation you have that you're just going to have to get over, okay? Because if you don't interact with people, you will not know the opportunities that are available, opportunities that you are going to miss. And don't give me this bullshit that, oh, on the internet we can find everything. Fuck you, you can't. Or a lot of times it'll appear on the internet long after the opportunity has passed. Long after, like, all the smart money went into it and now all the dumb money is going into it. Yeah, fuck, you know, like the fucking Economist is famous. You know, the Economist almost always has these covers that are usually the top of the market. Yeah. Yeah, they talk about like the internet right when it's like at the top of the market and then it goes right down. That happened back in the 2001 dot-com bubble crash, right? Yeah, I remember it because I was neck deep into that shit, right? Or 2000, was it? Yeah. The Economist called it, you know, the dot-com mania or something. It was some cover that they had. And like the next week, the market just tanked, okay? Yeah. Online, in the mainstream, you know, and the internet and what have you, you will hear about things, money-making opportunities and what have you. But by the time it appears online or in the mainstream or wherever the fuck, the normal mass communications outlets that all the proles are looking at for guidance, right? By the time the proles find out about it, yeah, the smart money, the connected money, the people who are socially connected, who did suck up and social climb and all the rest of it, they already made the fortune. And what's left over are the fucking crumbs. The crumbs for the proles. Yeah, that's how it fucking works. The only way you can really find out about the real opportunities is to be plugged in. Plugged in knowing the right people. Plugged in knowing the right people who will tell you because they know you and they like you. Yeah? That's the key issue. It's not enough to be plugged in. It's not enough to know a lot of people. They have to like you enough to offer you this opportunity, to tell you about some opportunity. And you know how I know about this? Because one time I experienced shutting someone out. Yeah, this was back in the day, like in the early 2000s, and I was producing movies, right? And there was this guy who had a lot of money. And we were setting up this film production fund, right? And we were talking with some investment bankers, and these guys knew everybody, and it was their job to know everybody. And we were putting down lists of people to contact, right? And for this particular money-making venture, right, we got to a name of a guy. And I was like all thinking this would be a great guy and he would be perfect for it. But the investment bankers, you know what they said? They said, no, this guy, yeah, we're not going to bring him in because he's an asshole and, you know, he fucked us over, so fuck him, you know. And that was that. They just didn't like him, and so they crossed his name off the list, yeah. And he was a guy who could have made a lot of money by getting involved in this project, but he was just cut out. He was cut out, and that was that. And the thing is, see, it wasn't, of course, just this deal. It was a bunch of other deals, okay? And so this guy, who was an investor and a businessman, he was always looking for new projects to invest in and work with and what have you. He got cut out, and his fortune began to deteriorate because of it, yeah? And yeah, that's how it works. Guys get cut out all the time because they are not liked. You got to be liked. And this is the horrible part, yeah? You have to be liked. And to be liked, well, you got to suck up. Yeah, simple as that. You got to suck up and make friends with the right fucking people. And you have to social climb. Simple as that. You know, and it's unpleasant. And it would be, like I said before, it would be great if it weren't true, but it is true. You got to suck up, and that's why you need to know how to work a room. Yeah. You need to know how to work a room. You need to know how to make friends. And you need to know something crucial. You need to know how to accrue favors. Yeah. Recently, there's this guy. I'll say it doesn't really matter. This guy called Josh, right? He runs Kiwi Farms. Now, Kiwi Farms has this thread about me, right? Thread about me where they talk a lot of shit about me. And most of it is untrue. Some of it is actually true. Like, for instance, somehow these, you know, autists found my fucking family tree, right? And they put it up there on this thread. And they also found business disputes that I had where I don't look good because, of course, they put up the version of the guy I had the dispute with. The fact that this guy didn't even sue me or anything of the sort kind of like proves that the business dispute was just a bunch of bullshit, right? But anyway, on Kiwi Farms, there's this thread about me. And Josh runs Kiwi Farms. And I was getting involved with some guys, some money guys. And I needed this thread to not be, you know, the top thing that appeared when my name, my actual name, was Googled, right? So I asked Josh if he could somehow, deprioritize this. I asked him specifically, look, can you please just remove my actual name from the URL so that way it won't fucking appear on Google as the first fucking thing when you Google my name, right? And what did Josh do? He said, fuck you. Simple as that. He said, fuck you, I'm not going to do any favor for you, okay? I wasn't offering him anything, by the way, okay? I just asked him as a favor. I was just putting out a chit, right? I was putting out a marker. I was telling him, basically, I'm going to owe you. I need this. It's important to me. I wouldn't ask it otherwise. Huh? And by the way, the page had been up for, I don't know, over 2 years, I think. No, coming up on 2 years, a year and 18 months, okay? So the page had been up there for a while, but circumstances were happening in my own life whereby I needed this page to sort of like, go down. And I knew the guy who ran the site, who owned the site. And I asked him for a favor, and he said, fuck you. A funny thing happened. A very funny thing happened. A month later, exactly 30 days after I asked for this favor, right? Where he had said no, Josh had said, fuck you, or words to the effect. He didn't actually say fuck you, but he basically said, no, I could never do that. My principles, blah, blah, blah. He said no to me. And exactly 30 days later, he sends me a message. Very urgent, I talk to you. Please, 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 get in touch with me. I call him up. What's wrong? What's up? The very first thing he says to me is that he says to me, I can get your Kiwi Farm thread deprioritized on Google. I know how to do it, okay? And all I need is for you to help me with my Ukrainian visa. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. See, Josh is living in Ukraine and I live in Ukraine, right? And so I have residency in Ukraine, but he doesn't. He's on a tourist visa. And it's been, a long time since his tourist visa expired. He's here in the country illegally, right? And so, here he is, after I'd asked him to deprioritize my Kiwi Farms page, and he'd said, fuck you. And now he's offering this to me in exchange for me helping him with his visa. See, in the 30 days between the time I'd asked him to do what he was now offering to do, in those 30 days, and he'd said no, well, I'd had to eat a shitload of shit, okay? There were some guys I was working with, right? And, some big money guys, right? And so I had to go to them hat in hand and eat a lot of shit. Go to them and say, please don't cut me out of this deal. I had to suck up to them really badly. 2 guys, and altogether it was 3 sessions, one of them in person, where I had to suck up to these people. And please, please, please. And do you think I fucking liked that? No, I fucking didn't. Fucking hated having to suck up to these guys, but I needed to because it represented a lot of fucking money to me. And so I sucked up. I didn't like it, but I sucked up to them, and I got in good with these guys, and all good. But now Josh is saying, I can give this to you if you give me the residency in Ukraine. But it was too late. It was way too late. See, I could get him the visa, and it wouldn't be very expensive. And if he had helped me the first time, if he'd helped me, instead of saying fuck you to me, he'd actually helped me, I would have paid for his residency thing. It would have been a couple of grand, but happily, because him deprioritizing me on Kiwi Farms and, just sort of like, erasing me from the Google search, it represented a shit ton of money for me, The $2,000 fee to get his residency straightened out, would have represented less than 1% of the money I'd be getting, I would have been happy to pay for that fee, because Josh, by the way, is broke as fuck, right? I could have paid that fee, no problem, and I would have, if he'd done the favor when I asked him to. Josh, in his arrogance, he goes and says, fuck you to me. Okay, fine. He's got these principles of his, fine. He won't, take my name off the URL of the Kiwi Farms thread, no problem. But then later, he offers to do it because it's his advantage, because he's making this offer so that I'll do something for him, right? So what does that tell you? That his principles mean shit, okay? It's just bullshit. It's just, a facade. He doesn't have any fucking principles. And in point of fact, it proves that he'll pretty much do anything to save his own skin, like a fucking rat, yeah? So back in July, in early July, when I asked him for this, he said no because he had his principles. But then in early August, he calls me desperately, and he'll throw his principles overboard for the sake of a visa. Mm-hmm. And what did I do? I said, fuck you to Josh. Oh yeah, of course I did. Yeah. See, I asked for his help, and he gave me some bullshit excuse about his principles. But then when his neck is on the line, his principles don't matter anymore. So the guy's a fucking rat, number one. And number two, more to the point, see, he knew that I needed this. He knew that I needed this. And instead of trying to help me somehow, maybe he couldn't, or he wouldn't because it really would affect his business, which is understandable. But instead of trying to explain this to me or trying to help me to come to a different solution to the problem, he just arrogantly flipped me off. Am I going to help Josh in the future? Of course not. I'm going to laugh when he gets arrested in Ukraine, because eventually he will. So you see the situation, yeah? And you see while you have to help each other out. You're in a milieu, you're in an environment, you got to help each other out, yeah? And sometimes helping somebody out in your own milieu, maybe it does go against your principles or some bullshit like that, right? But maybe it's smart to take a marker from somebody who could potentially help you.